Before we begin our lecture, let's take a moment to quickly revisit the key points from the session we had before the break. To give us a brief summary of the lecture, I would now like to invite Ms. Sugandhi to share the main highlights and takeaways from the presentation.
Good morning to one and all present here. It gives me a great pleasure to brief you all about today's morning session. Today's discussion highlighted the concept of vending machine food, evaluation of nutritional compositions. Vending machines are now a common feature in many public and private places such as schools, workplaces, and health centers. They provide the convenient access to food, beverages, but the nutritional quality of this product has become a major concern. According to the global data, the vending industry is growing rapidly in some regions. There is one machine for every 31 to 95 citizens, generating billion of euros annually. Most vending machines are stocked with foods high in calories, fats, sugars, and sodium, but low in essential nutrients. This makes them an important factor to consider when talking about the public nutrition and the health. The goal of recent studies has been to assess the nutritional quality of the food offered in these machines and to explore ways to make them healthier. It has been observed that 55% of the items are food products, followed by snacks 10%, cold drinks 14%, and hot drinks 31%. Many of these products, however, do not meet the nutritional standards for the healthy diet. The findings suggest that we need to improve the nutritional quality and the portion size of the vending machine food products. Providing healthier and the more options can encourage better food choices, especially on university campuses and in workplaces. The main conclusion is that vending companies, along with governments and institutions, should take steps to reduce the unhealthy processed foods and increase availability of low calorie, low fat, and low sodium options. Promoting awareness and adopting the supportive policies can help to create healthier food environment. At the end, finally, more research is needed to understand the behavior and the financial impact of such changes so that healthier choices become not only possible but also easier for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Sugandhi, for the concise summary. Now, moving ahead, we'll begin our second lecture of the day titled Factors That Most Influence the Choice for Fast Food in Higher Education Students. This topic is especially relevant in today's context as it explores how lifestyle, environment, and personal preferences shape food choices among young adults, a group that often sets future dietary trends. We are once again honored to have Dr. Antonio Rapso with us to deliver this session. Please join me in warmly welcoming him for this insightful lecture. Over to you, sir.
Good morning again. And in this section, we will discuss about the factors that most influence the choice for fast food in a sample of higher education students in Portugal. And when you think on fast food, of course, we can relate with the previous sessions. We discussed about the food items contained in the food vending machines. And can we also relate the fast food with not adequate food items when we discuss about their characteristics, about their nutrition profile, and everything else regarding not so healthy choices? Perhaps, yes, that is what we will see. But nowadays it is very quite challenging because people really need fast food. What is fast food? Food that is fast to prepare, fast to eat, and fast to have access. And it is one of the great challenges that we can provide these kinds of food, but in a healthier way than the most frequent foods that we see, that perhaps they are not so healthy choices, but people consume these foods because they simply don't have time to prepare other kinds of meals and food preparations and applying different cooking methods. People, or at least most of people in some societies, don't have enough time, and their routines are not aligned with the preparation of, as we call, slow food or traditional techniques, or whatever we have also discussed here. So it is a urgent need to find some fast food, but healthier fast food than those we are more accustomed to see in different shops, in different food establishments. So when you think in fast food meals, we think, I believe, in the illustration we have in the left top corner of the slide, in those kinds of foods that are characterized by their prompt availability, so fast availability, simplified preparation process, so that are also fast in the way they are prepared, and emphasis on efficiency, allowing customers to receive their food in a matter of minutes after making the order. And this is very important on the daily life nowadays, that the challenges that people are facing in their jobs, in their lives. Fast food is often associated with restaurant chains that offer a limited menu of standard options such as hamburgers, chips, pizza, sandwiches, sodas, and other foods that are prepared quickly and intended for immediate consumption. And of course, people like, from the point of view of taste, they are considered palatable foods. So both the fast food industry and the consumption of ultra-processed foods and fast food meals have increased dramatically around the world, especially in the last few years. And factors such as the taste, the brand reputation, ease of access, convenient location, price, promotion, offers, and price. We may see that in some occasions the price is not so cheap as we can think, but of course, in other cases, yes, because when you have to spend more time in preparation, you require a kind of raw materials and knowledge, of course, the final price will be increased. And fast food service play also significant roles in increasing fast food consumption in higher education students. This fast food consumption is, of course, a public health concern because it's associated with an unhealthy diet as well as the risk of some chronic diseases like obesity, cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, among others that we have already discussed here. So, higher education students are a particular vulnerable group as they are in a phase of life marked by various transformations, which include spending long periods away from home and staying at university campus. For example, some of them are accustomed to have food prepared by their parents, and when they need to move to a different place, a different city in some cases, and they face the challenge of to manage the buying of their foods, to prepare their foods, and of course, if they have the option to get this fast food with all these aspects related to the fast way of preparation and get access, in some cases the price and everything, and ready to eat, why will they waste time in make this all this managed. So this transition exerts a significant influence on eating patterns, and of course often resulting in unwanted decreases in weight, and some diseases can be seen also in this tract of the population. So what have we done regarding this study? First, it is important to observe that the frequency of fast food consumption among this population, our students, the higher education students is high and causing worrying implications regarding public health. And we aim to relate the factors that influence the choice for fast food with also social factors, nutritional status, and the fast food consumption in a sample of higher education students in Portugal. For this, we conducted an online survey questionnaire that was disseminated by social networks among students during the first half of 2023, and 237 students that participated, mainly female, were attending public higher education institutions with a median of age of 20 years, and about 20% of the sample had overweight, and 80%, approximately 80%, consumed fast food, and almost 40% consume it more once, twice a week. So, permanently about 80%, 78, they choose hamburger meals, spending about 8.6 euro per meal, and the factors that most influence this choice were the easy or convenience of preparation, see how fast they can prepare the meals, the price, and the flavor. So there were also differences between sexes and between those attending public or private higher education institutions regarding whether usually consume fast food or not consuming this type of foods. The body mass index was also positively associated with age and with fast food spending. So these results, we can see them as big implications for public health and clinical nutrition, and they can support more effective strategies to improve food choices in higher education students. Here we can see some of the most relevant results of the study. We can see the personal characteristics, the fast food consumption of participants, and the differences between sexes. So we can see that more than 70%, 75% were normal weight, female dominant population between the study participants, and we see that more than three quarters of the population, yes, they consume fast food. So 181 participants among the 237. So the presence of these kinds of foods, of these establishments, is very well present in the Portuguese, or at least in this sample of the Portuguese population. But that is also very well to observe when we cross the streets. And of course, for sure, the urban and the great urban centers, Lisbon, Porto, Coimbra, and the main cities, we face in the streets the most of the restaurants, and also in the malls we see a lot of food establishments selling fast food. And in the working days, with the lack of time, people have to prepare the meals and to have lunch. Of course, they go to the establishments because of the price, because of the fast how they are dispensed, and how we can eat, and the flavor that is tasteful, at least for those ones who consume these foods. We asked about the frequency of the consumption of this fast food. How often do you consume the fast food was one of the questions. And we also observed that more than half answered that 2 or 3 times a month. And pay attention, because this is sometimes people have the tendency to not answer so correctly to these questionnaires, because when they think, they say, "Oh, I consume a lot," but let's put only 2 3 months a month. I believe that most of these people can, in fact, really consume more than what they are telling us in the questionnaire. For example, near my campus in Lisbon, you're right in front some important fast food chains, and there are always plenty of students, always plenty of people there to have lunch and to buy some of these type of meals in the establishments. So the consumption is really very, very frequent and very high. Then, what kind of meal is it? You consume more, and the hamburgers were by difference the most consumed kind of meal with 78% of the answers. We have also your data about the age, a median value of 21 years old, the body mass index we can consider in the range of normal weight, and the amount spent on each fast food meal it's around 8.6 euro. But in rupees, Indian rupees, I think about 860 rupees per meal of fast food these people are spending. In this table, we see the relationship between the factors that have the most influence on choice of fast food, or sex, the type of education, establishment, consumption of fast food, the body mass index, and the amount spent on each fast food meal among the higher education students. And we can see that the most positive answers we can say under the factors related with this was the price, that they say yes, it is the price that most influence me on choosing these kinds of foods. As we can see, food price, and we can see also another question that was also well evaluated was also the taste of food. This was another one thing that people mention that makes them to opt or influence the consumption of fast food, and perhaps the most relevant fact was the ease or convenience of preparation, with most 60% of the answers mentioning yes, that was the factor that most influences me when opting for these kinds of foods. Of course, we have also other answers in other ways, but these were the most relevant ones, and were the people most indicating their reasons for consuming fast food. You have here also the relationship between these factors, these F1, 2, 3 have a relationship with these questions, and then we related also these factors if they usually consume fast food and their body mass index with and the amount spent on each meal. Of course, someone spent more than the 8 euros, another one less, but the median was about that. Regarding the body mass index, they were considered as normal weight, with some individuals presenting also overweight. But in median terms, they can consider this the study population as normal weight. This is the same. And we can say that approximately 90% of the participants reported consuming fast food. So half of which mentioned consuming fast food 2 to 3 times a month. And I think that is also very few if we observe the real consumption. I think this is even very few times. Not if they say 2 3 times a week, I will believe more. But 90% reported consuming fast food, and almost 35% of these ones reported a consumption of 1 to 6 times a week. So and these are very relevant values. Regarding the amount spent, it is similar to the amount paid in a canteen or a private university, but much higher than the price paid for a complete meal in a social canteen associated with a public university, which is around 2.8 euros. But of course, this is only for some special individuals that can have access to these social canteens. When compared with a university meal or in a food establishment, of course, we can have that meal for more or less the same price, between 9 euros, 10 euros, 8.5 euros. It is the similar price. So apart of people state that the price is one of the factors they go to fast food. If we see the numbers, The truth is that they can have other options quite different from this, and the price is not so different. The three main factors most pointed out by our education students as influences on their fast food consumption are those ones that I've already stated and we saw in the table. The easy convenience preparation, price, that you can discuss if it is indeed at least a valuable reason or factor that influences, but they mention yes. And the taste, the pleasure that they have of consuming that food. Part of 21.4% of these participants were overweight, that it's quite significant. Moreover, around 90% acknowledged consuming fast food, with half of them doing so 2 to 3 times a month, while 34% more than once a week, and 2.5 consumed once or more times a day. Most participants preferred hamburgers when they consumed fast food and spent on average 80 euros, 8 to 9 euros each meal of this type. And the main factors that influenced fast food consumption among these study participants included convenience or easy convenience, price, and taste. This is the summary. This is the summary of the obtained results. In addition, significant differences were observed based on sex, type of higher education institution, being public or private, and the frequency of fast food consumption. Of course, in some of public state universities, students can have access to cheaper meals, and this €9 in medium, these €9 meals can be cheaper for around not 2.8 euros, that is too cheap. It's not so easy, but for 4 or 5 euros, maybe we can have access to a meal that is not a fast food meal. Positive association was also found between the body mass index and the age, as well between body mass index and fast food spending. The results of this investigation have important implications for public health, clinical nutrition, and providing insights that can be used to develop more effective strategies to improve food choices of higher education students. And I bring also here a study that was carried out by the analysis of different original papers conducted in the South Asia. This is the results and the summary of the results of a systematic review about the factors that affect the fast food consumption among also in the college students in South Asia, and we see that the frequency of fast food consumption, and when we speak about this fast food consumption frequency, is about daily to several times a week, has increased among college students in recent years, also in this region. And we can see that a number of socioeconomic, physiological, and behavioral factors influence the fast food consumption. The commonly male students and persons with higher body mass index consume fast food more often. Taste, price, and convenience, accessibility, availability, ambience, and location also promote fast food consumption in college students. So some of the results you can see are quite similar to those ones we obtain in Europe, in Portugal. And nutrition interventions are needed to promote healthy dietary intake behavior among college students in South Asia. So you can see here that the results are not so different and the conclusions are not so different from those we obtain in Portugal. And once again, it is important to state that we can change this, that fast food cannot always be related with unhealthy foods. Of course, we can have this fast food with junks, with the causes that we have already discussed and talked here, like the non-communicable diseases, chronic diseases, this obesity, cardiovascular inflammations. And of course, they are supported by these fast food junks and with high refined sugar content, with high levels of sucrose. But we can opt for another kinds of fast food, non-caloric, with the use of non-caloric sweeteners by the inclusion of fruits and vegetables, and we can also state them as functional fast foods, like these examples that I also found in the literature that are making their arriving to the population. This is this shortbread with almonds and nuts, plus orange peel powder. This ice cream made with sarsa pulp and moringa leaves, the noodles with plantain flour and orange peel powder, and also another kind of ice cream with orange peel powder and shallot peel powder. So if we see this and if we analyze this kind of functional fast foods, they can be included in a sustainable diet and with some functional properties that we see on the right side of this slideshow that can also be accessed in a fast way, that can be prepared in a fast way, and the implications for health can be interesting with the effect of some of these fruit and vegetables inclusion on, for example, the glycemic properties of some foods. So this is some kind of strategies we should implement in the daily diets and the consumption for the populations that can be also with the same goal of the fast food, but not fast food with these junks, with these foods mainly characterized by their high content in sugar, in fats, in calories, in sodium, and provide some alternatives that can have a beneficial function in our organism, as we can see there with all these characteristics. And so, please let me know what is your point of view regarding this, and if you have already seen some examples of these functional fast foods, or if you are more commonly and associate the fast food to these junks, or if you at all don't have the experience of see um, the population or the most part of the population consuming fast foods. Thank you. How is the fast food consumption in your region? Especially for those that are not from here, I know that here the fast food consumption happily is not very well received, and it is not highly consumed. At least it's my perspective of what I have seen. But who are from other regions of India, and seeing these results from this systematic review, the the status, the paradigm is quite different from this particular rural region of where we are and where this campus is. But speaking about the country and all the regions you have, please tell me about how is your experience. And of course, we will see many differences between some places where you live or where you are accustomed to be.
So, very good morning, sir.
Good morning.
If we talk about fast food specifically near CUH, like Central University of Haryana, our institute, it's bit less compared to the
Yes, the
capital
other
region
regions.
like Delhi or some other main cities
Of
of
course,
the
in
India.
the urban, yes, in the big cities, yes, it is. I believe when you go far from the rural areas, you can see for sure. I don't know if you have any study, but you can see for sure people consuming more these fast foods. Is that
First
true?
reason is like we don't have too much options here.
Lack of time. You don't
Lack of
have the main sources to make the traditional foods or to buy in the from the farm. So it's the access is different.
Yes, sir. That's also one
That's
of the reasons.
one of the reasons.
Yes, sir. Another thing is, sir, we don't have like too much restaurants nearby our institute, as it's located in some remote area. Like Mangalore is the main city. that is so far, like almost 10 kilometers away from the central university's campus.
Yes.
So it's also one of that reason.
Yes, and the access to them is not
Yes,
so easy,
yes,
so
yes,
that
yes.
people don't consume.
Yes, sir. Another
Because I
thing is
believe here it's easier to consume not fast food than fast food. It's the opposite from the other places
other
where
places. Yes.
this easy of access and convenience that was on the factors that most people stated was under the reasons for the consumption of these foods. Here is the opposite. This easy convenience and access is quite limited, so people opt for other foods.
Sir, I have one question. Like in your area, as you mentioned, people don't have too much time to prepare meals. So maximum of the processed foods are there. So what's the difference between the consumption of processed food? Like they are also have preservatives, and the another thing is fast foods. They are so far bit similar in terms of uh, additives.
Yes, the concept, of course, is different, but if we see the nutritional composition of the list of ingredients and preservatives and all of those things, the truth is that's not so different because we want that people buy more fresh products, prepare their meals, and not to buy boxes of food that simply put them in the microwave and in 3 minutes have. If you see the composition of that food items, they are quite high in sodium, in fats, in everything we are talking here that is not unhealthy. So, and that is a problem and a challenge for some societies because people need to eat for sure, but have no time to make the preparation of the meals. So in this sense, we have to find some fast food, but healthy fast food. This is a nonsense. So we talk about that because we associate fast food to unhealthy options, but we must think on things that people can consume, can buy, can include. We can say people you have to spend 2 3 hours of your day in preparing a meal, being in the kitchen. People haven't that possibility. Not all the people. So you have to think in similar foods that are easy to prepare. And if you see the factors that most say, and it's quite the same in South Asia that in Europe and most of the countries, the easy convenience, of course the price, and the taste. These three main factors. If we find some healthier solutions with these factors being perhaps people will consume, what we can do is putting a product in the market with all of these good characteristics, but then the price is too expensive. Or people to make the preparation need to spend 1 hour at least, or if the taste is not good. This, of course, will influence if the people will consume, will buy it or not. So, but if we find some alternatives that can be pleasant, that can be tasteful, that the price is not so high. So this kind of functional fast foods, if this is only some examples, but if we find some examples with local products that people have easy access to them and with a good taste, with a reasonable price, because of course we are preferred to prepare with local products and it's easy to access and to prepare. Perhaps people will stop to consume or will consume much fewer of these hamburgers, pizzas, hot dogs, and start to eat these options. But at this time, we don't see much of these options. We see, of course, the growing of the fast food chains all over the country, or every place, at least in I don't know here, the fast food chains are there, perhaps not here, but if we go through the big cities, we have there that chain, fast food chains in the malls. But all over the country, in Portugal and around Europe, we have a lot of fast food chains. And for example, I think that in Paris we have only in one city almost 100 restaurants of one brand of fast food. Only one brand. And for example, if you go to United States in the same road, You have 10 restaurants selling fast food and selling hamburgers in one road. So, and why we see a lot of these fast food chains? Because they sell. Otherwise, they wasn't there. They weren't there. So once again, the companies offer the people what they buy, what they want. And if we change, of course, some of the products of this fast food. Of course, some of those chains also adapted some of their food items with less amount of sodium, less amount. But of course, it is always different when compared with other healthier options. And of course, when compared, if people have the possibility to buy their own products in the market and prepare their meals, that is always different. But you can compare because you need time and in some cases more money to prepare and to eat that kind of food items when compared, for example, with 8 euros. You have a meal in 5 minutes in a restaurant, and a part of it you enjoy the meal. It is pleasant for you. You like the taste is good. So why I will change? What is the alternative you give to me? That is the question. When you live in a city and you have very limited time to have lunch, and you have very limited time when you arrive at home to prepare dinner, you spend all the day in your job and you arrive at night in the evening at your house. So, what is the alternative? I will not spend 2 hours, 1 hour in the kitchen preparing the meal. I don't have that possibility. What is the alternative in the point of view and easy convenience, fast preparation and taste that you can give to me? This is the big question, and the answer must be provided for the industry, for the new technologies, for the new thinker, for academy, of course. And this function of fast foods, and of course adapted to each location and to each local products, must maybe an option. And then if it works, we can think and produce them in a larger scale. But at this point, it is not so easy.
Like sir, in India, there are many noodle brands and some other pasta or something like that. They are based on like millet based or edited with some extra nutrients to make it functional food. They are combined with veggies so that micro and macronutrient will be balanced. So that kind of mixed thing can be used to tackle
Yes.
this problem. Like that can be easily cooked, less time consuming, and with less efforts.
Yes, that is a perfect example. But at least in Europe, in Portugal, for example, a meal easy to prepare based on pasta, or what are you telling? They will add amounts of sodium, of salt, and they will add some quantity of fats to a sauce with cream and fats, for example, that make people like it. So the question of a good and a healthy meal is lost a little bit, because if we don't add salt, if we don't add fat, people will not like it.
Yeah, because of taste, they have to add it.
Yes, because of taste. And because if we launch to the market a product with no fat, with no salt, with very good content of micronutrients, a balance of protein, complex carbohydrates, everything, from the point of view of nutrition, a very interesting product. But if that product has no salt and fat, because these two elements are very well related with how the people feel it tasteful or not, it is a problem from the point of view of consumption of the people. So, and some products, for example, that are zero fat or no fat, they limited the content of fat in that product. If we see the label, the content of salt is even increased compared with the natural product we see. So they make a higher content of salt to reduce the content of fat. And in the opposite, when you see a low salt content food, they increase the content of fat, because the product must sell. People must enjoy and like the product. And if you remove salt, if you remove fat, then what will be the taste of it?
They will
People
not
can
like
see the
it.
label, can buy for once, one time they will buy, but when they arrive at home and when you try, most of the times they will not buy again because the taste is not good. It's very different from what they are accustomed to, and that is a problem. That is a problem.
Also, in India, like it's not the issue that people don't prepare their food by their own, and they have like definitely they also are busy schedule, but still they take out some time to prepare their own meals so that they can maintain their health. Same ways, like they also crave for fast foods. Like taste buds used to crave, like I need some fast
Yes,
food
also some
within
kind of
5.
addiction of crave. Yes,
Yes, yes,
that
yes.
people can be addicted. One of the questions was regarding that, and of course, when the people answered, they said that was not one of the main factors. But of course, we see that some of the population, and also children, and also adolescents, have addiction habits to the fast food, and also social environment, because a lot of parties of the children, they meet in this kind of food establishments. Why they don't go to have lunch in another place to some other thing, and they go, for example, to a well-known branded fast food chain. This is also, of course, the social component, and all of this is also related. And this is what is difficult to change from one day to other.
Also in India, like to enhance the taste, but like taste of any dish, mainly the fast food that is common in India is Chinese food, French fries and all, noodles.
Yes,
Uh,
we have also that kind of fast food in Europe, in Portugal, but the price is a little bit higher than, for example, the hamburgers fast food chains that are the most successful, I believe, the hamburgers fast food chains in Portugal. Yes, we have already some sellers of kebabs, some sellers of hot dogs, some sellers of Chinese food, Chinese restaurants. And if we see the composition of those foods, they have some in common. That is, a part of in Chinese we have a lot of also the consumption of vegetables, but the fat content of those foods are very, very high. Okay, are vegetables, but most of them are fried, and also they add salt, because it's different if you go to a Chinese restaurant in Lisbon, or if you go to a Chinese restaurant, I believe, here in India, or even in China. And maybe what you can see similar is the name Chinese, because the foods, they need to adapt, of course, to the costumes, to the routines, to the habits of the population. Otherwise, they will not consume. It's the same. We have Indian restaurants in Portugal, but they don't, of course. They perhaps have one, two dishes, but with advice in the menu, it is very, very hot, and people already know that not choose them, or only if want really to taste. But the most of the dishes offered are non-spicy. That is quite different from here, for sure. But these adaptations must be done, otherwise they will not have success in the products when to sell to the communities.
So one more thing, like to enhance the taste, monosodium glutamate is added. So it can one of the reason that people crave for fast food. So in India, there is no like people don't take it seriously the limit of the MSG in the fast food. So what are the like guidelines in your country to regulate the MSG amount in the food chain?
Yes, but that is not the main problem. All of that is very well regulated, and that amounts. The main problem is right, the excessive calories, the excessive fat, the excessive sugar, the excessive sodium content. Yeah, of course, we believe that the total amount of preservatives and food additives are well regulated by the European Food Safety Authority, and we have also the Portuguese Safety Authority. In that part, we can be, at least we can trust. But the other thing is the content of macronutrients and calories and all these things that we have in very, very excess. And in only one meal, we can easily surpass what is preconized and what we should intake in all the day. And what is the content of vitamins? What is the content of macronutrients you have on that meal? We have mainly fat, we have mainly salt, sodium, and sugars, and not those elements that are so important in our diet. So, what is the content of micronutrients we have in those meals?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon,
Good
sir.
afternoon.
So I would just like to add on to what my colleague has said. You mentioned that if in your country you want to have pasta, then you will be adding a lot of fat and salt in it. What kind of fat you're using? Say if you want to make a puree, you can use tomato with cashew and olive oil. So these are the sources of healthy fats and they can definitely be added. And in place of salt, if you can use some spices like chili flakes or oregano, then and if you
Yes,
use
but we also use the oregano and the spice, but we need to add salt and we need to add some
Mm,
special sauce, for example, with cream that has fat, and for example, some pieces of cured meat or bacon. So this is a question of routine, of habits, and spices. We more spices we definitely will not add to the pasta because we are not accustomed. We don't like it, and we feel strange. Spices here that not work. So and so that is very important. The culture, the habits, the tradition, because what is more than normal for you in my country is not normal. For example, if I go here to a restaurant and ask people to not add any spicy to the meal, perhaps the chef or in the restaurant this is strange. What happens with this individual that doesn't want need any spicy? And sometimes when you say this is sweet or this is no spicy, and when I taste, no, sorry, this is very spicy and I can't eat. But how your taste is prepared and how what you are accustomed is quite different for us, and for us to keep the salt away from the food preparations is very, very difficult. It's a very, very long way until populations start to limit it or even eliminate the salt addition. We are very accustomed, and not only in Portugal, also in Spain, in France, in Mediterranean countries, we have that custom. In Spain, for example, in the starting of the meal, in some places we have a bowl only with olive oil and salt, and then the bread in the olive oil and the salt, and we eat. So for that you see how we like the salt and how we like the fat. So we like the flavor of salt and we like the flavor of fats of olive oil. We consume a lot of olive oil. That is a good fat, but it is a fat, and of course take care with the consumption of, and we use olive oil in everything. Also, for example, to add in pasta. So what can be strange, I don't find another word, what can be strange for you for sure, for us is very, very common. So it is, we need to adapt the strategy for sure, and we need to adapt our interventions in the populations because for sure it's very different if I want to make an intervention here with you or in my country, in my even in a Europe context.
definitely, sir. I understand the same problem you're facing there. We are facing with carbohydrates. So Indian diet is very rich in carbohydrate, as yours is in salt and fat. So yeah, sir.
Yes, and I believe, for example, your diet here, mainly in the vegetarian, have some kind of problems with accomplish with some kind of proteins and the consumption of biological proteins. So, and for us, in the many, that is not a problem. We have excessive consumption of also with iron. We have not at all. We have problems in iron because the absorption also of the iron that it comes from kinds of meat is quite different from the vegetables. So perhaps you may pay attention from some kind of biofortification or supplementation in these elements, as we have seen in some of the presentations. And in most of the cases, we fortunately don't have that problem. We have other problems for sure, but not in that way. This, of course, is related is on the depends of our habits and what we include in our diets.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yes, yes, definitely. Yes, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, I would like to add to Shivani's answer. Like as she mentioned, our diet is rich in carbohydrate, but some like it's very few where we use refined source of carbohydrate.
Yes,
We combine it with like fiber rich foods along with veggies, so it's not that much complex food to tackle.
yes, and for the you have a huge variety of carbohydrates, and of course it's quite different if you consume more complex carbohydrates or you consume sugar. The absorption, or if you will conjugate those kind of carbohydrates from vegetables, and then vegetables you not have only the carbohydrates, you have fiber, have other elements that help in digestion and absorption. It's quite different if you eat it from a sweet. We have also carbohydrates on the sweet, but chemically and in terms of absorption, digestion, very quite different. So, of course, that is also important to take into consideration.
Sir, I would like to know, like in India, the calorie distribution for major meals is around 500 calories. So, in case of extension, it can be 600 or 650. So, as you mentioned, in your country, you have like more calories per meal. So, how much calories are like basically consumed in your country per meal? Major meals we are talking about.
It depends. And also, we didn't talk here a lot, but in my country, we have also a very, very high consume of protein. We consume, and of course, related with high consumption in meat and in meat products, meat cured products, and salty products that we also consume a lot, and that is also traditional from some regions of Portugal. We have a high intake of protein. But that will depend. That will depend, of course. But I would say by far, it's more than 500 calories. Yes, yes. It is not complicated to reach the what is supposed to intake in all day. It is not complicated to reach in one simple meal. 2,000 calories. It is not complicated to reach that value. Of course, I would say that that is the median value. Almost of the population consume it, but in medium terms, I would say more than 500 for sure. I don't have specific data on that, but 500 calories is a very reduced amount. Talking only about calories. For example, in the previous presentation, you see that a simple sandwich that people eat perhaps two, or and not in a meal, in the middle of the morning, in the middle of the afternoon, between the main meals, between lunch and dinner, and a simple sandwich can have more than 500 calories, and may have 2,000 milligrams of sodium. So in that element, in that food item, you have already consumed more than you should consume of sodium in one single day. You have consumed almost half of the calories, or half of the calories, no, but almost one fourth of the calories you should consume in one single day. So when you go to a lunch, when you go to a dinner, a heavier meal, of course, this and see all you have ingested in 24 hours, you see that is very easy to surpass what is regulated, what is mentioned by the guidelines and by the reference intake values. So yes, we have excess consumption of calories for sure.
So, according to you, what are nutritional interventions work best for college students?
Regarding this,
Yes, fast food consumption. Nutritional interventions
it is
for
not
best.
easy because, of course, they will argue that they don't have time, that they don't have the knowledge, not only the time, they don't have the knowledge to make the food preparations. And the convenience and what they have easy access is this, they will say. So make the foods offered by the canteens better from the point of view of taste, because most of them simply don't like. They find much more tasteful these pizzas, hamburgers, these types of foods than the meals offered in the canteens, because the price They state that the price is one factor, but if we see in fact the price is quite similar if they go to a canteen. But the taste is not so well accepted. The preference from the point of view of the taste is on the canteen, and of course, the young people, the students, don't think very much on the health. All of them feel they are healthy, and all of them feel they are strong, and they will eat what they really prefer. And then you have also the social component. If everybody go to the fast food chain, I will not be alone in the canteen and the universe. So there are a lot of reasons, and they will argue that not going to other place for eating. And what we can do in interventions is to think on some fast foods that can be healthier than those ones that are already offered in these places. And why not join with these industries, and also to offer different things in the canteens of their campuses, more tasteful food. But this is not so easy. This is easy to think on it. It's easy to draft, but then when we go to the reality and to the practice, it is we face a lot of challenges. It is not easy from one day to another to change what is prepared in the kitchens of the canteens of the schools of the universities. It's not easy to make people avoid go to that food chains and go to other places. It is not easy also to arrive at food chains, and they have lucrative and they have profits, and say you have to implement other kinds of foods, and they will say, well, if this works for me, I will have more work, I will have what I will gain profit money with that. That is the question, because they exist. They are an enterprise. They are a company, and the companies exist for making money. Otherwise, they can't pay salaries, they can't pay bills, and they can't exist. So, what is the reason for me to offer different foods if these foods are selling good? You make your job, you make other offers, you make campaigns, you make actions, but I don't need to change nothing because I'm happy with the profits I have, I'm happy with the savings that I have. So it's a complicated way. Of course, we have the tax, we have all those things, but they are not effective alone for sure. So once again, the education, the role that the parents have at home in the education, also to teach the children the importance of the foods, of consumption, natural foods, the teaching of them to make them autonomous from the point of view of they can prepare the foods if one day they must go to other place and they will not have the mother or someone that prepares their food. And now they will go to the easy way. And the easiest way, is to go to a fast food chain and buy what is not expensive, what they can access in a very easy way. It's tasteful. So, what is the reasons that make them go to other place or go to the supermarket buying the ingredients and make the meals and all? They have to study. They have to go out with friends, but not being in the kitchen, not being in the market buying food. That not at all. So it is complicated.
Yes, sir. So, why do males and higher BMI students eat fast food more often? Like, what's the reason behind it?
Which students?
Male students, in the study you discussed about it, like male students and the person with students with higher BMI, they crave for fast food, like they consume more fast food.
Yes, if you can see that can be related. Of course, this is only a question and it's only a relationship. Many other factors can be associated with this increase of body mass index, but if we see the profile of these foods, they positive affect the increase of the body mass index because people are consuming excessive calories that they will not spend at all. So it is normal with the frequency of consumption of these foods the body mass index can be, but of course, more analysis must be done.
My question is like, why they crave food or why they consume more fast food? They are higher on BMI. Like in your
Yes,
study, you
but they
discussed.
don't think on that. They don't care about the BMI.
normal people, if we compare in the study you discussed about it now, like male
Yes.
students and the students with a higher BMI, they consume more
Yes,
fast
but
foods.
here that is not relevant because 80% are normal weight, so it is a very small amount. We have even with obesity 3%, 4%, and overweight 20%. So these numbers are not relevant, as I said. This we can make a direct relationship because many other fathers can contribute to this. This is very small numbers. But in other studies, we see that it is interesting that the people with obesity and overweight are demanding more healthier foods in the machines, healthier foods in the vending machines, in the canteens. But then, when we observe their behavior, even when we introduce that healthier options, they will not opt for them. They will opt for the other ones that stimulate even the increase of body mass, even increase of overweight and obesity. So this is complicated to, to analyze.
Sir, I studied one research paper based on like why people more crave for fast foods or something like that. They mentioned two, three reasons about it. One thing is hormonal or stress levels. Because of the stress, they also like if the sleep is not properly taken, then in that case also people crave for fast food. And another thing is if they have stress, like more stress, in condition of more stress, they crave for fast food because there is a shift in microbiota, like gut microbes, and it signals to the brain, and it's feel like
Yes.
a person is craving for fast food and wants to eat more unhealthy food.
Yes, that and that is true. It is all about the routine, the custom, and if you are accustomed to that, and if it works for you from the point of view of these trade manufacturers in this systematic review, and also in the study I conducted in Portugal, it is the taste. You feel it enjoyable, and you feel pleasure in consuming that food. You don't spend a lot of money. You have not even cheaper choices, and it's easy to access, and you spend no time on have access to them. So please find me an alternative that can accomplish all this, and maybe I will try. And sometimes, even if you find alternative, people say, change for what? If I'm good with this, that is the most complicated and the highest challenge we have. And we have, of course, to find some alternatives to change this, to change people's mind and change people's behavior, and to find some other alternatives. It is like you have discussed about the sugar. People consume more white sugar, and you see white sugar more prevalent in all kinds of sweets and foods. Why? First, the price. And we can stop here the discussion. We can stop just here the discussion. The price is very different from the others, from the other alternatives, and a part of the price. But the price is only is sufficient because most of people do not pay 4, 6 times more than they pay for white sugar for the white sugar, the refined white sugar. But then you have also the problem of taste. And then we have also the problem of access. So you have problem. But of course, we can be making studies and talking about the beneficial impact, the composition of amino acids, of polyphenols. But people don't care about that. The people will not buy it, can't buy it, and people is happy with white sugar. Only, of course, if they have some kind of disease and go to the doctor, and doctor tells you must stop to eat the sweets. But that is in another level. That is in another step. Until then, people don't take care. Now, people are being more conscious about all the problems because also all the interventions, campaigns, all the discussion that is made on different medias but when they go to the supermarket and they go to consume the foods, and also the industries that prepare that foods, they use white sugar mainly because of the price, because of the easy convenience and the access. Because if they use an alternative, what else? People will feel the difference in the price, and in most of cases, perhaps also will feel the difference in taste. So why I will pay more and much more for this item, and with even a different taste that I don't appreciate so much. That
Yes,
is the main point. All the other things you may study about it, the benefits, everything, they come at the second in the second stage. So
also, one more thing, like in one of our national speakers lecture, we were discussing that people don't pay attention to a dietitian's advice, or rather they take it more serious. Like if a doctor suggests something about it, like in India, it's very common. People don't take very serious about the instructions that are given by the dietitian, whether they are going by themselves or doctor is suggesting them to go to a dietitian. So
I
like in your country, what's the status? Like people are taking it seriously or like okay, okay.
I wouldn't say they don't pay attention to what is said or what is mentioned by the nutritionists. I wouldn't say, and even in last years we have great work from the nutritionists, at least in my reality in my country, that we see that they are more and more present in different fields of work, not only in the hospitals, not only as clinical nutritionists, but also in public health centers, in the communities, in different and they also appear more in televisions, in journals, in newspapers, in social media, and the role and the relevance of the nutritionist and the nutritionist's advices are more taken into consideration, and people are more aware of the importance of prevention. And not only to treat some disease or some illness, not at that point. Of course, we are also important on the treatment, but our main goal is to prevent, is at the primary prevention. So we see that people are more are paying more attention to our profession, to our advices, and not only to the doctors, but then of course also the role of or the way of other health professionals, pharmacists, doctors, nurses, see also the importance of multidisciplinarity and the role of the nutritionist can have in this, and the function of the nutritionist can have in this achievement of good health, in also in a hospital environment to treat some diseases. It is seen in different way. For example, at 20 years ago. This is a very much more well established now than in the last decade, for example. And even the doctors, the other professionals, see the importance and want to have a nutritionist in their team to, of course, to work in collaboration. And this is very, very important for the people, for the sick people. But the primary objective, our primary objective should be prevention, should be primary prevention, not only act when I feel some pain, when I go to the doctor, and when I face some specific disease. Of course, there are a lot of people that only pay attention on that time, but not only regarding nutrition. For example, smokers, they only stop to smoke when go to the doctor, and the doctor say, or you stop to smoke, or you will not live for too much time longer. And even that, there are people that the craving and the addiction is so huge that they're still smoking. The food is exactly the same. Even going to the doctor or to the nutritionist, even they say you have to consume less of these food products. You have to include more of these ones, but they don't care. It's their responsibility. So, but in other cases, yes, it works when you have some diseases, and the doctor says, of course, or the nutritionist says you have to stop eating sweets or eat sweets with this frequency, otherwise you'll have these health complications, and then people are alerted and say it's better to see if I do something positive and stop with this. But it would be preferable if people would be conscious and learn about what to eat in each person, in the right portions and in the right way. So, but that is not always possible, unfortunately.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So you mentioned about social canteen in your paper. So how social canteen,
Yes.
where the costs are almost half of the equivalent meal compared to a fast food meal.
Yes, but the problem is the quality of the taste. And for example, we have some social canteens even in public universities, but people go from run from that canteens and go to the fast food, even paying more. People usually don't like the taste of the foods offered there. That is one of the problems. And of course, you can imagine for 3 euros, it is very difficult to offer a good quality meal. At least 3 euros from my perspective. 3 euros in Portugal is nothing. Is nothing. You have, for example, in banknotes, you have a 5 euro banknote that is not very used because 5 euros, you with 5 euros, you can't buy no many things. So, and 10 euros is the last banknote that people usually say and pay, for example, a fast food meal. That is a very cheap meal. And imagine with 3 euros what kind of products, food products you can have on your plate. So the only people that go there is people that can't have access from the point of view economically to the other to other meals. So it is impossible to make a good meal from the point of view of taste with good products, fresh products with 2.8 euros that was mentioned in the paper. So and only some specific populations are able to go to that meal. It is complicated to talk about a good meal for 3 euros, at least in Portugal.
So if I may ask, like this may be relevant in our country.
Sorry?
This may be relevant in our country, these social canteens, and it's run across the country. My question is, how do they recover the costs?
Yeah?
The
Sorry,
amount,
I didn't understand. Sorry.
how do they recover their costs of
The
running
state,
this?
the state contributes for the payment of the total meal. People pay 2 euros, 2.8, about 3 euros, and then the state finance the other part. But of course, the offered products are low quality. In most of cases, of course.
So when you say
Not low quality from the point of view of nutritional. In some cases also yes, but not is the point. Low quality, for example, from the point of preparation, not so care in the preparation and in the taste, and people don't appreciate it.
Right.
Only if they don't have any other solution.
Thank you, sir.
And not only social canteens, even in, for example, canteens of public universities. In most cases, or there are some cases that people also don't appreciate, and they have access to meals with lower prices, lower cost, but the quality patterns are not so high as, for example, you go to a canteen in a private university, or if you go to a restaurant, and people looking for better patterns regarding also to their meals.
Right. So this study that you mentioned, it was about college students and higher education students. So was there any in your studies where there was a inverse association between age and fast food spending?
Age and fast food, of course, elder people have less consume of fast food, and also because of their experience of their routine when they are young and their lives. There wasn't this, so and most of them learn to cook and preparation methods that nowadays most of the young people don't want to care about it, and also the parents don't teach the adolescents to learn cooking. Most of the students that go to higher to a college, to universities, most of them don't know, even being male or female, don't know how to cook and to prepare their meals. This is the reason 90% of the inquired said that yes, I eat fast food. 90% of the inquired in this study answered yes, we consume fast food. And of course, if they know how to prepare the foods and if they have the routine, the habits implemented by their parents, go to the market, choose the foods, but that doesn't happen for many reasons. Once again, the time is precious for everything. And if they don't know how to prepare the foods, if they don't know nothing about that, if they have the easy inconvenience at lower prices to get the foods from a fast food chain, and even they feel it tasteful.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other question? Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for this insightful and relatable session. Your lecture helped us understand how fast food consumption among higher education students is not just a matter of taste or convenience, but also a reflection of lifestyle, environment, and accessibility. It was quite striking to see how factors like price, age of preparation, and taste play a major role in shaping students' eating habits. The findings you shared clearly highlighted how frequent fast food intake can lead to long term health issues such as obesity, cardiovascular diseases, reminding us of the urgent need for better awareness and healthier alternatives in campus environments. Your discussion also emphasized the importance of public health strategies and nutritional education to help young adults make more mindful food choices even in fast paced routines. This perspective truly connects food behavior with both personal and community well being. With that, we conclude the second lecture of the day. We'll now break for lunch, so please take this time to relax and refresh yourselves. After lunch, we will continue with the industrial visit for hands-on training on millet-based product development and indigenous food product preparation, along with local community engagement under the guidance of Dr. Poonam Yadav from KVK Mahendragarh. Enjoy your lunch, everyone. Thank you.